Hello, hello. Happy Thursday, everyone. Hope you're having a great day so far. I woke up a bit tired today, sort of like one of those not waking up in the right sleep cycle times, but I think it's still gonna be a good day. It's almost Friday. It's like we're almost to the weekend. We're like last half of the week. We're almost there. Fuzznaub, hello, good morning. So I saw yesterday that shortly after I ended the stream, I saw that I got a change music station request. Um, but then I missed that. I don't know if it was like right at the end of the stream or if I just didn't see it in the request queue. So I'm sorry about that. If you're watching the VODs or if you come back and you see that I just ignored you again, I refunded your channel points. And obviously, if you want me to do that again, try it again, and hopefully this time we'll see it. Today, we're going to be continuing to work on the UFO code for the Asteroids game. So right now we have the UFO who moves around, which is really nice. But I believe that I'm also clamping ourselves and bullets. So now bullets don't last very long. They don't fly very far. They don't fly very fast. So it's kind of a problem. Now the reason for that is because we're clamping everything that moves. So what I want to do, this is going to be in the update movements here. What I want to do is I want to grab the markers out too. And so from markers, I should be able to determine if this whatever this thing is, if it's the let's see, what is it? If it's the UFO. Like if the UFO exists, so let's actually create another little helper function in here. So is UFO, basically. So we're gonna have to take in markers, which we know is going to be a array slice of a reference to component data. And then we're also going to want to take in the index, which we know is a usize. We're going to return a result, which is a Boolean. And that way we can just tell if this specific one is that, and then we'll velocity clamp just the UFO. Okay, so how do I tell if this is a UFO? Well, we're gonna get the specific marker. So that marker, we have to cast it first. So we know that you're gonna be a data wrapper of type string. So markers, index, we're gonna cast you. And then we can check. So we're gonna return dereferenced marker, borrow that if you're equal to entity types UFO to string. So that's what we're gonna return. Oh, but you have to return an okay of that. All right, so then here we can do if is UFO, pass in markers, pass in the index. So if you're the UFO, we're going to do velocity.clamp. And if we're not the UFO, we're not going to do that at all. And we do have to question mark you. So let's try this again. The UFO should still move around exactly as we were expecting. Just sort of like nice and smooth, just like this. But I might want to even make it a little bit slower too, to make it easier to hit. But I really love this movement. It's random, but it doesn't feel in like that random. Then I can still move at my full speed and try to avoid things. And my bullets can move at full speed. So perfect. All right, so given that, now what? We need to have the UFO fire bullets. Otherwise, it's not that fun of a UFO. So how are we going to do that? If the UFO exists, we can fire a bullet from the UFO, which is, here we have this fire bullet system. I wonder if I want to like rename this to like the player fire bullets, or I'll just have another one like UFO fire bullets. All right, what are we gonna need? Well, we always need the world. And we're gonna need it to be mutable. Now, what else are we gonna need? We're probably gonna need the context. Because we're gonna need to create the mesh for the bullet. But after that, I'm not exactly sure what we would need. We can also get the ticks. So we're going to turn a result, an error result, nothing in it. All right. I'll bring you in. So, what do we need to do here? First of all, does the UFO exist? So, function does UFO exist? We need the UFO if it does exist. So, we kind of need... kind of need to just query for the things that we need. Now, if we're going to spawn a bullet, we're going to spawn that bullet in the location of the UFO. So we need its location at the very minimum, and we need the marker to determine if it actually exists. So world query okay, so world.query so we need locations. Now we also are going to need to pull in the entity types. So let's just bring those in now. Okay, so We have names, we need location, and we need markers.
Took a walk among the stars tonight. Found myself a washing colored light. It felt like spirits had awakened me.
I told you no words.
Animals had taken me.
Did you forget that? Yeah, I told you no lyrics. This clearly has a lyric. Thumbs down. All right, so we have our markers, we have our locations. Now from the markers, we can find the index of the UFO. So we can have function get index of UFO. And this means we need the markers to come in. You're going to be a array slice of component data. We're going to turn a result with a U size in it, except we don't always know if we're going to be there because sometimes the UFO doesn't exist. So it really should be an option. And inside of that, we'll have a U size. We know that at the very end, we're probably just going to return an OK with a none inside if it doesn't exist. So then it's just going to be find it. So we're going to loop through for index marker markers iter enumerate. Okay, so once we have U, we'll cast the marker down. Okay, so we cast the marker down. Now we can do our comparison. So if a dereferenced marker that's borrowed, if you're equal to entity types UFO to string, okay, so if you equal that, we're going to return an OK, some index. Otherwise, we reach the end of the loop, we haven't found it at all, and there we go. All right, so then we have let UFO index is equal to get index of UFO. We pass it in those markers. Question mark U. Oh, you have to be an if let sum. Okay, we'll return to index here. Now, if you don't exist, we're just gonna get out right now because there's no reason to fire if there's no UFO. So we're just gonna return it, okay. But now we have the UFO at index right here. Okay, so what's next? After we have the UFO index, we want to, okay, so we know where that is. We need to determine, should we fire the bullet? So I'm thinking we can do this as like a random number, either a, well, okay, we have two choices. I can do it like on a very specific time, like every n ticks, like maybe every 30 ticks. So ticker ticks modulus 30. If that's 0, then fire a bullet. And if the that would be like twice a second, or maybe I can do like 120. So every 2 seconds. Or I could have it be random. So I don't know what I feel like. If I do random, it will feel maybe a little bit more realistic, but it might also not. So let's say return just a boolean here. So we have rand pulled in right now. So if I just do let like a random number equal to random, and we're gonna make you be a F32. It doesn't really matter what you are. And then we're gonna return random number is less than 0.01, let's say. Like a very, very slow chance of firing. So then down here, if should fire bullet. So if you're true, then what do we need to do? We need to create the bullet, determine like the direction that it's firing, and then send it off. So then we should be able to do let bullet equals and create the bullet mesh. We give it the context. Oh wait, that gives me a game error, so I have to unwrap you. Okay, that gives me a mesh here. I don't have to unwrap it because they are compatible when they're errors. Okay, so that gives us a bullet mesh. That's fine. What else do bullets need in order to like fire around and actually like do all their stuff? We're gonna need like the marker as a bullet. We're gonna need a location of velocity and maybe an acceleration. So you're gonna be bullet mesh. We're gonna have a bullet velocity, which is equal to a new point. Okay, so we're gonna get a new point. But you're gonna be 0. We're also gonna have to have an acceleration. We're gonna set it some number. Let's just set it to be like 5. Select. Now our bullet location is going to be interesting because we want that to be the same location as this one. So we need to get UFO location. You're going to take in locations. Now we know you're going to exist at this point in time. I have like an, oh, I have a normal result in here. Why are you not giving me normal result? Okay, so I want a result. Why are you blue? Oh, because I didn't put a FN in front of it. That's why. Result. I don't think I need an option in here because we know we're gonna find it. Although I might have to. No, we know exactly where we're gonna find it. Oh, we do need the index. So need the UFO index, which is a U size. And we're gonna return a point. And I'm gonna clone that point because it needs to give ownership anyways. We need ownership of it regardless. Okay, so show location, data wrapper, a point inside, to index, cast you that, and then we're gonna borrow you and clone you. So we're gonna return, okay, UFO location, borrow. And that should be enough. That should auto clone that too. Okay, so bolt location is going to be equal to get UFO location, pass in locations, pass it in the UFO index, and there we go. We now have a point. And we have the marker too. I don't know if I need anything else with this. I think that might be everything. So we should now be able to do a world dot spawn entity. Really? Okay, spawn entity. Can I do anything? No with component? You're mutable. Did I somehow lose the world? Wait, what's going on? So I have all these. I have the world, which is a mutable reference to the world. It's that thing. And spawn entity. What am I doing wrong? Come up to our library. Let's be able to see how we use this. It's down here, I think. Here it is. So, world, spawn entity, with component, with component, with component. Yeah, question mark, then dot. Why are you upset? So you're the same world, right? I didn't lose you. Okay, so with component. Need the reference to the names. Okay, so let's just do these from the top. We're gonna have a mesh. And then our data is gonna be the bullet mesh. This is weird. I feel like I'm doing something wrong because usually Rust Analyzer is really nice with this. It is with component. Yeah, it's with component. I'm gonna try this out and we'll see whether or not I've got it like just terribly wrong and I'm missing something really simple. All right, so we're gonna have a velocity. World method. So you now suddenly you're happy because I couldn't find the world methods. Oh, thank you so much, Rust Analyzer. Okay, so I think this is gonna work like, what is it? Less than 1% of the time, 1% of the time it's gonna fire a bullet in one direction. But I wanna see if that works. So let's go ahead and have UFO fire bullets happen in our main library. It's not yelling at me. Let's run it. Let's see if this works. I mean, we should see it every once in a while fire a bullet. I should probably make it a little bit higher chance that it does it. This is not. Let's try increasing the chance of firing a bullet. Let's see, down here. Let's do less than 0.1. Or maybe you're not working at all. Let's just try every frame firing a bullet. So, return true. Yes, I know that code can't reach there. I don't care. There we go, okay. That's our problem. Our bullets aren't being created. Actually, I think they are. The bullets aren't hitting. Well, maybe they wouldn't hit. They're not being displayed though. What do they need to be displayed? Oh, the bullets need rotation, don't they? Also, I need to quit that before it crashes my computer. We need a rotation. Oh, rotation isn't a point. Wait, what error message did I get back? Yeah, okay, attempted to cast component from an F32. Okay, that's awesome. You're an F32, so you should be 0.0 F32. Now we should just see, there we go, okay. A stream of bullets like that. I'm surprised it didn't hit the asteroid. So then, should fire bullet, we're gonna remove you. We're gonna put you back. Let's do the 0-1 again. Let's see how this looks. Okay, so it's firing the bullet. Oh, we needed ticks to live, otherwise the bullets last forever. Why aren't the bullets killing the asteroid? So first of all, we needed ticks to live. I think this is a U-32, I think. So let's do like 50. So it fires less far than other ones. And we'll get an error really quickly if this isn't what we want it to be. So ticks to live, string, bullets, ticks to live. So now they should disappear. U size. Okay, they need to be U size and not U32. Okay, maybe that's a little bit too short. That doesn't last very long. That's not really that scary. Let's do maybe like 75. Oh, and you know what? We need the bullet acceleration to be proper. Because like 5, I don't think is right. Because I think what I actually want this to be is something like we have a random number. So let's say we have this be random. And then we subtract by 0.5 to make it between 0 and 1. But then oh, you can't figure it out? It's a F32. Fine. We're gonna make bullet acceleration mutable. And then we're going to scale it up by the speed. So we should be able to do a bullet acceleration dot normalize. And then we want to do a bullet acceleration dot multiply scalar of whatever we want this to be. So it could be like 10, for example. Which will make it a lot faster. Now, I need to figure out what our bullet speed is. There you go. So now this should fire in a random direction. But 10 is wrong. So I believe I have a resource. Do I not have a resource for bullet speed? Or maybe I don't want the bullet speed to be exactly the same as the player's bullets to make them a little bit easier to dodge. That might be good anyways. Let's see, where do I create the bullets? So in fire bullet. Oh, okay, so I have 13 here. So if I have 10, that's gonna last. So, okay, 10 is gonna be fine. And then ticks to live, let's make you like 150. Then I think you're gonna be more interesting. Okay. Now, I need to hit the asteroids with the bullets. So, handle bullets hitting asteroids. What are we querying for here? So we're querying for a location marker, entity ID, size, and velocity. So the bullets need a size in order for that to work. Now I think that if we were to hit the asteroids, these bullets should actually like play the game. There we go. Now they're queried for and it works. I think that 150 is maybe a little bit too much. So I want to drop this down to maybe 125. But we can play around with these numbers a little bit. Okay, so that's gonna give us. It's gonna give us like the UFO flies around. Just fires randomly. So then I think I also want the bullets to be able to destroy the UFO, and I want bullets to be able to destroy the player. So how is that going to work? We're going to have a... We're going to have systems for that too. So let's have a system called UFO. Let's see. Handle bullets hitting. Do I want to do them both together, or do I want them to do them separately? I kind of feel I want them to be together, hitting ships. All right, so if we're gonna do this, we're gonna need the world. And I think that's it for right now. What else do I need? I don't know if I need anything else. Okay, so we need to query for the bullets. We need to query for like the player and the bullets, the player, and the UFO. All right, so we need locations. We need markers. We probably need sizes. That being said, I don't know if we exactly need sizes because, like, if the bullet location is within the size, oh, okay, we need sizes to get like the player one. Okay, so we do need size. So if we have marker, we have location, we have size, I think we can tell what's a bullet, what's a player, the idea of those entities. Okay, so I think that could be good for right now. Okay, so got all those out. Now what do I need to do? I need to know. Essentially, we need to get a. We need to loop through everything. Okay, we need to know the index of the player and the index of the UFO. That could be maybe a different function down here. So, function get index of player. Oh, and this is a big thing. If the index of the player doesn't exist, we're done. And I believe I have a helper for this. So get player index. That's what I want. Get player index. So I don't need you. I think we're gonna do you right here. So let index equal to get player index. And your result of a usize report. Now, are you gonna be... You just give me this usize here. but the player may not exist. Because if the player doesn't exist, I feel like that needs to be an if let sum. Like I kind of want to update you to return an option with the usize in it. Because otherwise, okay. So if I don't do that, now what would I be forced to do? This is a result, so I could still do a. I would have to do a match on this. So here, let's do let player index. Here's what we're gonna do. We are going to create another function down here to use that helper. Function get. Yes. Good morning, Epic Blarg. Am I working on UFOs? I am working on the UFOs. Yes. Get player. Get player index if exists. We need the world. And I don't think I need anything else. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to return this result with an option with the usize inside. So I'm going to convert that over to this. So if you haven't seen matches or like how to handle errors and like not just crash, this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to return a get player index from that helper. We're gonna pass in. Oh, we need the player ID. That's why. Okay. Okay, maybe I don't need to do this. Player ID. So what do you return? Get player ID. Player ID. So if here we go, you return a result and an option. Okay, awesome. So I want to pass in a reference to the world here. So let's do let player ID equal to if let sum. Okay, so never mind. I'm not gonna do that entire thing with the handling of the error. We have this set up here. So we have the index equals to u, question mark u. We're gonna return the index here. Now, if this doesn't exist, if we don't have an index, we're just gonna return This seems mean. Return okay. If we don't have the player ID, then the UFOs can't even shoot themselves. I should probably make it so that the UFOs can't spawn if the player doesn't exist. Otherwise, you could sit there and get like 1,000 UFOs on the screen, and that would not be a fun day. Epic Blog, let me show you what the UFOs look like. So right now I just have it sort of like showing up on their own. The bullet speed is slightly different and they last a little bit less long than like the player's bullet speed to try to make it just a tiny bit easier to dodge. And we don't have anything like collision detection for the bullets hitting players or UFOs yet, but it's looking pretty good. like I can try to shoot them, but nothing happens. How is our movement determined? I'm using Perlin noise for this one. Which actually, like, it looks pretty good. I don't know if it's going to be too hard to play. We need to actually destroy them for me to, like, determine that. Okay, so we have the player ID. We probably want the UFO ID too, but maybe a little bit later. For player ID, we definitely need this. Well, I can almost guarantee we're gonna need the UFO ID also. That being said, I probably want this to be just the option to store in here. Balancing the game comes last, yeah. So what if actually I just have the option? Like, what if player ID just sticks to be an option? Because that way, or I just have the bullets hitting ships like player. No, because that's gonna be very similar code. I don't know how I feel about this. If I get the player ID here, I might have to come back to this and like figure this out later. But like we know the player exists now. I think what I want to do is loop through all of the, what I probably want to do is get a array or vector in this case of bullet locations. So I have a function get bullet locations. You're gonna take in all the locations. What? Component data. And we're going to return a result with a vec of U size. No, we can have you be a reference to a point. But you can't just take in locations, we also need to take in markers. So given this, we could then have our let the locations equal to a new vector. Let's make you be mutable. Then we're going to loop through all of the markers. Okay, so and do for index markers enumerate. Let marker here at data wrapper or here at data wrapper. And you're going to be a string inside. Loganison or Eoganison? I can't tell if that's an L or an I. But hello. Good morning. Let's actually combine these two. It's like we have our data wrapper and we have our what? Oh, because cast components. You're in here maybe? There you go, cast components. So that makes you happy. We have the import point also. This function's return type contains a borrowed value, but the signature does not say whether it is borrowed from one of location's 2 lifetimes or one of marker's 2 lifetimes. Wait, locate. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I can give this a lifetime. We can say that you're. I mean, they're all the same. But specifically, we can say that you're the location's lifetime. All right, so you're just unhappy because I'm not returning. We're going to return an OK with bullet locations inside. All right, so we cast down the marker to get the data wrapper, which is now an RC ref cell. We can now do an if the marker borrow, if you're equal to, of course, you don't know entity types. So we have our helpers here. Let's combine some of these too. Now let's also grab entity types. All right, so if market or borrow is equal to entity types, in this case, we want a bullet. So if you're equal to that, then I want to take the locations of index, want to push that into bullet locations. That should give us this reference here, and then we return you. Expected struct vector point found U size. Oh, wait. What did I do? Bullet locations dot push locations of index. There we go. Now we can get that. So let bullet locations equal get locations, get bullet location, pass the location, pass the markers. There we go. So now we have a vector of a reference to points. Okay. So far, so good. We do have an error. What are you yelling at? Oh, because your component data, not points. Yeah. Component data. That's our problem. There we go. Okay, now we're happy. So we have bullet locations, which is a component data, so it needs to be cast still, but that's fine. Then, what do I want to do? For each of these bullet locations, we need to get the we need to find if there's a player. We need to find if there is a UFO. So if there's a player, check theirs, like check their location. So if their location, plus their size, get the distance between them. If they're overlapping, destroy the player. Otherwise, destroy the UFO. This is where getting that player ID is interesting, because I don't know if I want to do it exactly this way, because I don't want to return, like I want to be able to destroy it. Let's say I want to destroy the UFO first. So in this case, I don't want to like just not do this. I want to grab the let's see. I could do the exact same thing here and get like the ship locations or the ship indexes. No, I think the ship locations might be good. So let's say I do that. Let's say I don't do this here. Let's have like another function here. Function get ship locations. I don't really care what this is. We're gonna take in locations, which is this exact same thing, and markers. And we're gonna return a result with a vec of component data. So let mute locations equal to an empty vector, and we're going to return an OK with those ship locations inside. Now you're probably going to yell at me about, let's see. Yeah, if I like don't tell you what that lifetime is, you're going to yell at me, right? Yeah, okay. So you are okay, initialize the lifetime, then it's the location lifetime, then use the location's lifetime. So given that we're okay so far, I want to, it's going to be very, very similar. I want to for loop through all the markers. So it's kind of the same as this. I sort of like feel if I was doing this over again, I might be able to create a function to like give me the index of like all of these things. But in this case, like I don't want you to be a bullet. I want you to be a, ooh, okay. So I want you to be a player. Else if marker borrow, you're equal to entity types UFO string. So you're going to be one of those two. And so you're not bullet locations, you're ship locations. Okay, and then we return U. So now that should give us... Yes, it does have identical... Oh! Ooh, you're right. You're right. Hold on. If this is that, or U. So then I can do maybe like a let, because we can borrow out of here. So if we cast it, we can borrow just once, really. So you can do, let's do a marker equals marker.borrow. That gives us this ref of a string. And so now where we have this twice, we just do a dereference to marker. Okay, so equals that. So if you're that, then I don't need this else if. Okay, if you're either a player or you're a UFO, push in your location and then return those. So then we have our bullet locations. Now let's have our ship locations. Pass in the locations, pass in the markers, and there we go. Now we have a vector of these. So if we don't have any, so if ship locations is empty, then we just want to return, okay, we're done. There's nothing to do if there are no ships. If we're not empty, we want to loop through each of the ship locations and see if it's hitting. So for ship location in ship locations, so that gives us this component data. So we need to cast it. So that location is a data wrapper of a point equal to a ship location dot cast. Okay, so now we have that ship location. So I should be able to borrow that, dereference it to get to the actual point. So let we're gonna need to now loop through all of the bullets. So for bullet location in bullet locations, so that bullet, okay, so I want to make this a little bit more. Location, bullet location, you're also a data wrapper, you're also a point. Bullet location dot cast U2. Okay, so I have ship locations, I have bullet locations. For each of the bullet locations, I want to get the distance to the ship. So let distance to ship is equal to, it doesn't really matter which order I do this in. We're gonna do a dereferenced bullet location dot borrow distance to a dereferenced ship location. We have to borrow that also. That's going to give us an F32. Type F32. Okay, so don't need to do that. Expected or a reference. I don't want to move you, so we'll just do an iter. Okay, so we now have a distance to the ship. We have the sizes here too. I don't know what the size is. I don't have the index of the sizes. That's a problem. Let's say I just do this poorly first. Because I don't have the IDs either. It's like I don't have a lot of things. If distance to ship is like less than, I don't know, let's do like 25.0. Then we can just do a debug right now of hit. We don't even know which ship we hit. Like we know the location we hit, but we don't know, like it doesn't really matter. I'm thinking that get the ship locations, probably gonna want this a little bit more complicated so we can have the ID of that ship and also the size. And I might want to have like a little structure that I can create that will give me that. But okay, so let's just do that. Let's see if this works. Okay, so it's not happening right away. So I should be able to shoot. Oh. Okay, that's not, wait. I need to call the function. That would be helpful. Handle bullets hitting ships. Okay, we're gonna head over to the main library. Handle bullets hitting ships. Pass it in a reference to self.world. Unwrap you. And we're gonna try this again. Okay, so we're not just getting constant debugs. Okay, that's fine. Now, oh, that's interesting. Oh God. Do you see what the problem is? I know what my problem is. The bullet is hitting itself. Hey, that hit me too. Okay, so that, like, it's cool when it's the UFO ship, but oh man. So I'm having the bullet spawn in the center of the ship. I might want to have the bullet spawn a little bit farther away, because the player's ship is going to destroy itself. So I have two choices here. I can spawn the player's bullet far enough away that it's not hitting itself when it fires. Or I can have two markers for the bullets, one for a UFO bullet and one for a player bullet. And then I would need two systems. One for, essentially a UFO bullet hitting a player, and one for a player bullet hitting the UFO. Which might be easier to code, but less efficient. They could both still hit asteroids though, because I could just not check which type of bullet they are. I think, especially because it's 8/18, I think I'm going to think on this today, and then tomorrow we can like implement whatever decision I decide to make. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and start wrapping this up. So I'm gonna end the YouTube video here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next